Hey, this is Coach John, owner of Explosive Performance Academy, where we help you maximize your athleticism through speed, strength, power, and multi-directional skill development. And I wanted to talk to you today about something that is an absolute game changer when it comes to speed and speed development. So, what are the big things that really help you develop speed? Help you develop speed for a 40-yard dash, for a 60-yard dash, for a 100-meter sprint. Things that are really game changers. Whether you're a sport that plays on a field, a court, on ice, this all translates to speed. So there are three main components. Okay, three main components when it comes to speed and running in a straight line fast. Now obviously there is the ability to, or the need to change direction, decelerate, all that type of stuff. But right now we're talking about linear speed. It's important. Typically our fastest sprinters are the ones that are getting shots at the next level, no matter what position they play, no matter what sport they play, because speed typically translates to other forms of athleticism. And a coach can work with and improve a player that's more athletic and faster. They feel like they have a higher ceiling, higher potential to play at the next level, to play at a high level at the next level because they are fast, because they are explosive. It's important to understand how important speed is when it comes to the development of an athlete. And I'm not saying this is the only thing, because I've spoken about the 9 essentials of performance. But speed is one very important thing. And there's a point where speed is genetic and it can't necessarily be taught, but you can still get every single athlete faster, no matter what sport they play. Okay? Athletes can get faster by training to get faster. All right, and when we're training to get faster, there are three elements that you need to understand. Three elements, three components of a 40-yard dash, a 60-yard dash, a 100-meter sprint, anything like that, that you can improve. And when we're talking about hockey, what is the testing that guys on ice do off ice? They do a sprint, right? So it's the same exact thing. Typically, the faster guys off ice are going to be the faster guys on ice. It translates. So, for any athlete, you need to make sure that you are focusing on these three phases. Three phases. All right, so the first phase is the acceleration phase. Okay, what is the acceleration phase? The acceleration phase is typically your first 5 to 7 yards out of a start position. Okay, a start position being a 40-yard dash stance, a 2-point staggered stance, an even stance. Your acceleration phase is 5 to 7 yards for a normal human being. Now, some people are a little bit different, but for a normal human being, it's 5 to 7 yards. So it's not very far. But your acceleration mechanics are your most important mechanics of all of a sprint, really, because you're using it the most in sport. Okay, your first 5 yards are typically where things are going down in your sport, okay, unless you're a distance runner. Okay, so what are some of the key components of acceleration phase? So we want to make sure during the acceleration phase we are keeping our body as close to 45 degrees as long as possible. 45 degrees. So our spine is neutral. Everything is straight from head to toe. So I'm straight here, head here, down to toe. Okay, my body is straight, my spine is neutral. I'm looking 3 yards out in front. Okay, 3 yards out in front here. I'm not looking up. My body follows my eyes. So if I look up, I'm going to stand up out of my stance. I want to try to maintain that 45 degrees as long as possible. If I can maintain that longer than 7 yards, then I am at a different level. Okay, it is going to help me. It's really going to help me a ton. And it's going to help me sprint faster in a straight line. So I want to make sure that I'm staying at 45 degrees as long as possible. I'm looking 3 yards in front. Now my legs are punch and drive. My foot is landing behind my body. It is not landing underneath me. It is not landing out in front of me. If it lands underneath, I start to come up sooner. If I land out in front, it starts to slow me down. It's a braking force. So we have to make sure the feet are landing behind the body and we're extending through the ground behind our body. We're driving through the ground. We are not landing underneath the hip. We are not landing out in front of the body. We're driving behind the body. Okay, so Stay at 45 degrees, look 3 yards in front, and we are driving behind the body. This is explosive, okay, powerful. We're trying to cover as much distance per stride as we possibly can during the acceleration phase. We're not trying to take short, choppy steps. We're trying to take big, powerful steps. Big, powerful steps, not short, choppy steps. All right, so those are the basic components of the acceleration phase. Now, phase number 2 is our transitional phase. Okay, this is an important phase when it comes to a 40-yard dash, 60-yard dash, 100-meter dash, because a lot of people tend to come out of this phase way too soon. When we come out of the transitional phase too soon, it slows us down. And most of the time, coming out of the transitional phase, it happens because we bring our head up too soon. Okay, we bring our head up too soon, so we start to stand up too soon. Like I said, we want to be able to apply force behind the body during the acceleration phase. So the transitional phase, we start to land more underneath the hip, but we don't want it to be where we just take one step and the foot lands underneath the hip and we stand straight up. We want this to transition. Our transitional phase is around 7 yards to around 30 yards. And this depends, it varies from person to person. It's not the exact same thing from person to person, so I can't give you exact details on that. But it varies from person to person. So for you, it might be, you might be past 30 yards. I don't know. You might be shorter than 30 yards. It just depends. There are a few variations, a few variations that are going to dictate what you are doing how soon you're coming up. But during the transitional phase, we start to cycle more with our feet. We start to land more underneath the hip. Again, we're not directly underneath the hip until we're at the end of our transitional phase. We start to land more underneath the hip, and it's progressive. It's progressively up. So we start to go here, okay, instead of being here at this point. Our spine is still neutral. So our spine is still neutral, everything is still straight, and we start to come up here. Our line of vision starts to come up. Okay, it's transitional. We are slowly progressing up. Our transitional phase, actually our entire sprint, our entire straight line sprint is like an airplane taking off. Okay, we are not here and then here. We're coming up here. Okay, so the transitional phase, it's slow and progressive. It is not fast. We're not trying to bring the head up fast. Okay, we're not trying to bring the body up fast. We're trying to slowly, progressively come up. Okay, we want it to be a nice progression where we're slowly coming up and we are starting, our foot is starting to land underneath the hip more and more. Okay, so that's phase 2. Phase 2 is the phase 2 is the transitional phase. Phase 1 is the acceleration phase. Okay, so acceleration phase into transitional phase into max velocity phase. So the max velocity phase is different for sure. Okay. The majority of the time during the max velocity phase, we are actually losing speed. We're losing speed. We want to try to maintain speed, but it's not normal to be able to maintain speed. Okay, let's do this. Let's say this. So Usain Bolt, when he's running the 100-meter dash, he is maintaining speed. He's maintaining his top speed. He is not losing speed. He's maintaining, he is not gaining speed either. Everybody else that he was racing in the Olympics, in track and field, were actually losing speed during the max velocity phase. Usain is special. Okay, he's 6'5", 210 pounds. He ran a 9.59 100-meter dash. He's a world record holder. That record probably will not be broken for 25 plus years. He's special. Nobody's even close to a 9.59, and it's crazy. And one of the main reasons he was able to run as fast as he was is because he was not losing speed during max velocity phase. Now the max velocity phase is all about efficiency. It's all about efficiency. So this, we are upright. We are standing tall. Line of vision is straight ahead. We're staying relaxed, full arm swing, core is engaged. We're drawn in. Our belly button is to the spine. Hips are up underneath. Okay, hips should be up underneath in every single phase, but here it's very important. The leg motion is more of a cycling motion. So we're picking the knee up. We're actually snapping through the ground under the hip. Okay, how are we going to lose speed? Our foot is going to land in front of our body. How are we going to be able to maintain speed? Our foot is landing underneath our hip and it's accelerating us out and up. Out and up. It's not just out. It's not up. If I'm going up, I'm slowing down. If I'm going out and up, I'm covering distance. I'm covering more distance per stride. So I need to make sure that I'm as efficient as possible. And I'm on the balls of my feet. Okay, I'm not on my heels. I'm not flat-footed. I am on the balls of my feet. I am covering ground. Okay, my body's tall. My line of vision is straight ahead. And my legs are cycling through the ground, snapping through the ground, accelerating our body out and up. Okay? It's all about efficiency. The more efficient you are here, the faster you're going to finish your 40-yard dash, the faster you're going to finish your 60-yard dash, the faster you're going to finish your 100-meter dash. So we need to focus on efficiency during this phase. Efficiency is going to make a huge difference in your speed during the max velocity phase. So make sure you're efficient. Okay? So those are the three phases. Acceleration phase, it's your first 5 to 7 yards. We're punching and driving with the legs. We're trying to stay close to 45 degrees. Phase 2 is our transitional phase. We start to cycle more underneath the hip. We're not directly underneath the hip yet, but we're starting to come more underneath the hip and our body is starting to transition up. Our line of vision starts to come up progressively. It's progressive. It is not straight up directly out of the acceleration phase. It is progressive. Okay, and then our max velocity phase, this is around 30 yards through the finish. We are tall, we are upright, our legs are full cycle, we're landing underneath the hip. We are not landing in front of the body, we are not heel striking, we are not landing flat-footed, we are on the ball of our foot underneath our hip, and we are covering ground out and up. Okay, so hopefully this helps you. This is some information that you can take and you can translate it to your training. Okay, focusing on these three phases. Focusing on these three phases, making sure that you're understanding this. Okay? If you have any questions, please comment in the comment section. If you want more, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you get the updated videos. This is all information that I want to give to you to help you to maximize your athleticism. So that's it. Have a great day. Take care.